So shooting off a tripod in general is kind of a skill set. You have to know a little bit about your rifle, how it's going to respond, recoil. It's going to change your point of impact a little bit. The way that you set up your body behind it, the height that you set it up. There is a learning curve, and I'm not going to pretend like it's just inherently easy. But when you get it down, there should come a time where you feel more comfortable with it to take more normal shots. And so for me, I do shoot at 1,000 yards relatively often. I'm not a pro, and I'm not as good as the bench rest guys or competition shooters. I'm not trying to be. But I think I can make consistent hits off this tripod at 1,030 yards on a 2/3 size IDPA. I'm sure I'll have a few misses in there, but I think I can do it. And I'm going to just show you that this can be a really solid platform. So give me a second to load up, get ready, get my parallax dialed in, and I'll get a couple hits at least on that 2/3 size IDPA. Probably dance around it a little bit as well. Wind is dying off. That helps a lot. Okay, here I go. All right, I do have to admit that it's a little trickier to shoot with this thing on there. Just the eye relief and stuff is a little funky. But I should be able to get a couple hits on there, and I just want you to be able to see the reticle as I'm shooting and just what kind of consistency I can accomplish here. Okay, I'm gonna go safe. I do need my bag under my leg. I've got a little too much wobble going on. Even a small wobble at this distance equates to a miss. So there's an impact. That's a dead elk, my friend, at 1,030. That's 2 impacts. Let's see if we can get 3 in a row. That's 3 in a row. Man, that's not too bad. I hope that came out clean on this footage. But at 1,030 yards, that's not a full-size IPSC. That's a 2/3 size. And with this reticle and the steadiness provided by this tripod, even shooting through this kind of milky glass that comes from the side shot scope cam, it's reducing the Bushnell's image a little bit. I'm still able to see hits, impacts. I think I can even tell where it's hitting on the plate. All right, what are the chances that I can go 5 for 5? Probably not too good. Five for 5. Now that is not too bad. Vanguard, this is a decent tripod. Bushnell, it's a very good optic. And thank you to Side Shot. I couldn't make this footage without that device. All right, so I'm at 200 yards, and I'm going to shoot off this Vanguard tripod. Seems like a pretty sturdy unit. Really appreciate that it's got like some rubber built in on the carbon fiber covering that up, just a little bit more comfortable to hold. My rifle weighs a lot. Okay, as it's set up with the weight and the bipod and all the extras on here right now, it's around 19 pounds, so it's a pretty heavy rifle. I recognize that in a hunting scenario, you're not going to haul this thing out there. I get it, but I just want to max it out. I want to load it up and get real heavy and see how it responds to that, and then also elevate it to almost its peak height. So this is kind of, pushing it to its limits to see how it can handle that. And I've got an 8-inch target there. Let's see. I've got a 10-inch target too. I'll shoot the 10-inch. I've got a 10-inch target here at 200 yards, almost exactly 200 yards. Not a long throw, but when you're shooting off of tripods in general, it's better than shooting off a tree branch or shooting, kind of some sort of improvised kneeling position for me. I'm not as steady that way. This is still much, much better, even a fully standing position. If I had the time, I would get the tripod down to a lower seated position because it's very stable and I can get multiple points of contact. I can get elbow to knee and usually put a bag under my leg, something like that. But if I was just walking around and I needed to shoot over brush or I didn't have more time to set up, this is what it would look like. All right, so my data for this is only up like 0.2. It's not much. And I will turn off my mic and throw a couple down. On the swing. All right, so I'm holding the rifle steady. And I need to move up. I think that looks right. And then I need to move to the left as well. Okay. All right, I got it all set up. I think I'm comfortable. I wanted to try this clamp out, the GM70 with the Ruger American stock, because the Ruger American stock is a little flimsy, it's a little squishy, and the contour changes on the fore end as I get down here. And so with the contour change, I was curious if the internal, grip strength and the grippiness, the texture, just that clamping design in general, if it could keep up with a reduced forearm, and it looks like it's still holding it pretty steady. And I probably have a little room to work with there, but I needed to leave enough room to get this in. No, that needs to come back. I'm wrong. So it's going to be more like right there. And even now, there's even more of a reduction in the forearm, so it's grabbing an uneven surface. Let's see. All right, right there. Let's go ahead and send some at a target here a little past 100. It's kind of a small target to be shooting at with a red dot, but should be okay. All right, this time I'm going to hold it kind of loose and see what happens. Basically free recoil, just touching my shoulder. Still on there. All right, well, I'm going to try a few different things. I've got my Vanguard rest here, the GM70, and I have my 300 Blackout, which is kind of just a silly rifle, the way I have it set up. It's a Ruger Ranch. It's nothing terribly unique. It'll look a little different next week, so I'm going to do some video with a chassis and other components, but as it is here, let's go ahead and get it set up in the mount. It's pretty basic, and that's just fine because it's still a fun rifle to shoot, especially a subsonics, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. At 325, subsonics are interesting. The rifle behaves fine. The round itself does not. So subsonics gets a little trickier. I'm going to make a correction there. Actually, I'm going to start out with a different ammo, and this one should be closer to 4 mils. Okay. It's actually a respectable pattern down there. That's not too bad. Action's a little rough, but the mount is doing just fine. I think this does recoil and does move back a little bit, and the narrowing of the forearm could be a potential issue if it was really rapid, but this has kind of like a rubber on rubber feel. Well, here's where I'm at now. I'm at 530 yards, and I'm looking at my IDPA target down there at full size, and I've got my 300 Blackout still. Shooting those 175 Freedom Seeds. Let's see where they at. Here you go. Some 175s, and 175s, they're decent. It's a decent bullet for 300 Blackout. This is not a match round. This is just a boat tail. It's a hollow point. Boat tail hollow point. So it's not amazing, but it still holds generally about 1.5 MOA. It depends if I use the 168s or the 175s. I'm using 175s right now. And the wind is not terrible. And so my goal right now is to land at least a few off of this tripod. This is a fairly new system to me, shooting off the Ruger American and then off a tripod on top of that. This trigger being what it is, you know, in this kind of cheesy stock. There's my excuses. I'm shooting a cheap, you know, $200 optic. But all this to say, I can throw that into this unit and still get, you know, pretty consistent results, I'm sure. I definitely did with my precision rifles, but now I want to try it out on something that's a little more budget friendly and just fun. So this little Frankenstein rifle, little scout rifle I'm working on, we'll see what the accuracy is like. I'm going to throw my camera or my phone into my Vanguard spotter. I already did a review of this. If you didn't check this out yet, this is an awesome spotter package. And I have the PA65 attached to it. So I'm going to throw my phone into the PA65. That's the digital, I can't remember what the accessory is called. I'm sorry. It holds your phone so that the spotter can see and you can record. It's real cool and it works good. I'm going to throw my phone in there and take some of these shots now. So I think the wind has finally died off enough where it's worth sacrificing some of this ammo. I'm up 10.5 mils with 175s. Knocked off my indicator, but I think you'll still be able to hear them. Not too bad. I know there will be people who think that this is ridiculous, and to be honest with you, I'm kind of there. One of the things I like to do on my channel is to show, especially long range shooting or just firearms in general, in not the best of circumstances. It's easy at 530 yards where we're at right now with a really nice custom bolt action to ring 6-inch, 5-inch, 4-inch targets. We have a 4-inch target down there, and sometimes during matches, we aim for tiny little targets. So a $2,000 gun should shoot really well, and hand-loaded ammo should shoot really well if you're doing your part, and a $4,000 optic rather should do really well. And when you combine those things, you have a hot rod gun, and I love that stuff. I think it's fun. I have some better quality rifles than what you're seeing here. I don't know if I have any super hot rod rifles, but this right here is kind of the lowest standard. I'm shooting a 5-pound trigger right now. It was 4.8, so it's 4.5 pounds. A 4.5 pound trigger, and it's squishy. Let me go ahead and drop this out. It's squishy. It's kind of mushy. It's got a bad take up. It's almost indiscernible, the break. It's just bad, and a little bit of over travel. It's got the blade. So that is one thing. The stock is not ideal, and it's got a kind of a rough action. I'm shooting 300 blackout, 175 grain, not even match ammo. Why would I put this combination together with a 12x optic? That I obviously on my channel have more expensive optics. Why would I do something like this? So I want to show you that even with kind of the least of what you're going to see out there, or maybe a really budget option that you're working with, even with this setup, which is very, very budget minded, I can plug it into this Vanguard GM70, this mount and this tripod combo, and I'm making repeat hits. Now I did miss once there. I got a little, a little too overly confident, and I didn't slow down enough on my fundamentals for that follow-up shot, so I missed one. But I'm telling you, if I slow down, I do my part, I'm getting repeat hits, and that's with a 300 blackout, 175 grain Ruger American. Nothing special, guys. This is a little 16-inch barreled rifle that has like a rubbery gummy stock. Nothing special, but I'm able to use it in collaboration with, or a combination with, this Vanguard rest and get repeatability. So the gear that you have is probably good gear, but versatility is where this tripod comes in. You can't see it very well, but where I'm shooting into, there's actually so many weeds and tall grass and little trees forming here, I can't shoot from the prone anymore. So if I tried to get down in the prone, I'd have a serious issue. The next level for me, if I'm hunting and I'm wearing this sling, carrying this thing around, and I want to take a longer shot, hopefully with a better caliber, but if I want to take a longer shot, the next thing I can do is sling this up and shoot off my knees, and I can see just barely over some of this brush off my knees. But from there, I would rather just grab a carbon fiber tripod that's super steady, that I can fan out. Like, look at the splay of these legs that can clamp into any rifle system that I own personally. It can clamp into anything. I could use it turkey hunting with a shotgun. I could, especially an auto shotgun. I can use it with this little 300 blackout. I could put my bag on top of this and shoot a pistol, like a revolver, on top of it resting my hands. I could put my precision rifles in here. Just about everything that I can think of in a hunting scenario, a planking scenario like what I'm doing for fun today, I think this tripod is going to cover those bases, and so that's my opinion. It's very, very good. It's executed well. I like it a lot. It's very sturdy, and whether I've been in the completely prone position, which I don't think I recorded much of that, or this position with this angulature of the legs, or the fully fixed tall position, I've had good results with it. And this is my preferred position right here. If I can get down into this one, it is so stable. I feel great about it, and I highly recommend it. I have more Vanguard stuff coming for reviews in the next month, and I suggest you stay tuned because this is really, really good gear, guys.